Shalom Aleichem, welcome back to this week's installation of a Biselleh Torah. I'm glad you're here to learn a little bit of Torah with me. Lecha is the parsha that we're reading this week. It's a story of Abraham beginning a new nation and basically reinventing civilization. We know nothing about where he comes from except for the fact that he's a descendant of Noah. The Midrash, however, wants to know more information about why God elected this specific individual. And it creates a story about how he grew up in his father's household, and his father was an idol maker, and Abraham smashes the various idols in his shop, perhaps on purpose or by mistake. And then his father comes back and accuses him of destroying his livelihood, and Abraham says, well, they hit each other. They destroyed each other in a row and a fight. And his father says, that's impossible. They don't move. And Abraham says, well, yeah, they don't move. So why do you pray to them? There's got to be something bigger, larger, more important. That's the guiding force of the universe. And so Abraham becomes the progenitor of the Jewish people. Here in this parsha, Abraham is told by God, Lecha, get yourself up. Travel to a distant land without a GPS, without any real knowledge of where you're going or the dangers that you're going to encounter en route. And trust me, says God, and Abraham does. He lifts up his suitcases and travels to this distant land called Canaan, establishing a foothold in the land of what we call Israel today. Smashing idols is the ultimate bottom premise of what this parsha is all about. Can we dismiss our prejudices, the things that we think are absolutely correct, and basically accept the fact that we may be wrong? I think the Torah is asking us to ask this of ourselves every single day of our life. Am I right? Is my opinion correct? The things that I shout for and say that are inviolate, maybe they're violent. Maybe they're totally off base. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe instead of the blacks and whites that we've established for ourselves in life are actually grays, and we need to look at them from a different perspective. There's the story that's told a little bit later on in the Torah about Hagar, who's fleeing from Abraham and Sarah, and God addresses Hagar as she's running away. Where are you going and where are you coming from? And Hagar only answers part of the question, one part of it. She only answers the part of where she's coming from. She doesn't know where she's going. So where are you going? Where are we traveling to? And again, can we be brave enough to be able to smash idols? Or are we only given to the propensity of accepting what we already believe in and then move forward to try to justify what we believe and what we think? It's very hard to enter into a conversation with somebody whose mind is already made up. You notice that? To be pliant, to be flexible, to be considerate of ideas that are not necessarily ones that we hold, is to engage in the pursuit of truth. Several years ago, there was a young man by the name of Nadav ben Yehuda, 24-year-old Israeli law student that decided he wanted to travel to the Himalayas and climb the world's highest peak in Mount Everest. It was a long, hard climb, and he was meters from the summit when he saw a Turkish climber who was lying unconscious on the ground. He picked him up and carried him down. He said later on, if I continued climbing, he would have died for certain. Other climbers just passed him by and didn't lift a finger, but I had no second thoughts. I knew I had to save him. I didn't think for a second about politics, the fact that he was Turkish and I was Israeli. Again, can we give up on the idols that we think are the most cherished things? I mean, this was a guy that probably would never have another opportunity to climb Mount Everest, and yet he did the right thing. Can we afford to smash the idols that we consider to be sacred and holy? In these days when politics are so divisive and people get so angry that they destroy relationships and burn bridges with people rather than acknowledge the fact that they might be wrong and that the other person may have a point of view that could be correct, are we brave enough, strong enough to be able to abandon our idols and consider something that might be outside the purview of our mind today, but may in fact be correct?